Ladies and gentlemen, Byron Davis is the lead singer of the metal band God Forbid, which has been around since 1999. Their latest album, Equilibrium, came out in March of last year. They're currently in studio for the next album. Byron, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Byron.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me, bro.
Now, how many times do you, as a musician of a band that has been wildly successful, get asked to come on political talk shows?
Not often at all.
Now, given the nature of your music, why do you suppose that is?
I just think that no one really cares about, our opinion. I think they just find it. I don't really think people really listen to the message as much as they do the music, if that makes any kind of sense.
Yeah, I think you're right, because, and I've noticed, especially in the past couple of years, there seems to be a large shift in lyricism in metal, moving towards a more consciousness-based message, and that's why I'm excited to have you on. I've noticed some of that shift in your message. So,
well, hold on. I want to challenge this assumption here, Byron, because I think when people listen to like Justin Bieber and Beyonce, I think they get the message that, the message is that they shouldn't pay attention to important things, that they should be good little entertained sheeple and go back to their quiet lives and never have anything to do with any important issues in society.
Well, I could agree with that. They have the perfect medium. If you really want to sit back and think about it, every radio station that's on the air plays the same 5 or 6 songs, 10 to 15 times a day. So people just become brainwashed to it, to the point where even if they initially hear it and they don't like it, after a while it starts to grow on them. So they just engulf themselves in like that whole party atmosphere of, everything's good, everything's dandy, let's have some fun. And, I just think that people aren't as aware as they used to be.
Why do you think that is?
I think people just have become consumed with their own lives. I think it's turned into the ultimate rat race where everyone nowadays, with all the media and, Facebook and Twitter, everybody wants to be famous. So everyone just engulfs their whole lives into that goal of being famous, whether you're working at it or you're making, a home porno and getting it out to the masses.
Oh, now I know what we need to do to make AVTM really take off. All right, Mike, take your clothes off. You want to pass me the Obama dildo over there? We'll get right on that.
I don't know about live.
All right. We'll have to plan this out. But all right, for the next episode. Okay, so Byron, God forbid. What is did God actually forbid you from making music? Because it didn't work.
It kind of feels that way because the message is being said, but no one's really hearing it. So. I don't know. I just think that, like, I come from a different time, my perspective on what's important and that whole 60s vibe of, being conscious of what reality is and what's important, at the end of the day, I think is what I strive to do when I write my music, have something viable to say. I've been given a platform, so I try and use it to the best of my ability. It's cool to have fun and party and things like that, but there are bigger issues going on right now, like we're constantly losing our freedoms, provided by the Constitution on a daily basis, yet no one is saying anything about that. They're complaining that they can't do this and they can't do that, but they're not realizing that, the power is really in our hands as far as the way we vote and the way we, assemble and, try and have our voices be heard.
So what is that message? What is it that you feel is important that you really want to get people's attention with?
That you're not really alone out there. Everybody goes through the same types of problems, no matter, your gender or your economical status. But, at the end of the day, everyone is a human, and you should treat each other with the same type of respect that you would like for yourself. So, I just think that whole era of being far removed from the public is just an idiocy thing. I don't know. It's just weird. Like I was saying before, you look at like people that are influential in our society nowadays. Like, you have people like Kim Kardashian. You know, what does she really contribute to society? You know, you have Paris Hilton. What does she contribute? You know, yet these people are like household names, making money off of the deeds of others who busted their ass to accomplish something and be, you know, a working member of society instead of just leeching off of it.
Well, you complain about how people aren't listening, and when you have artists like yourself that are putting a more significant meaning into lyrics, that it's not really sinking in. And I wouldn't contest that isn't true with the broader audience, but haven't you been able to create a unique following, for God forbid, of people that are more tuned into these issues, that are hearing this, that are inspired by this to a certain degree?
To a certain degree, yeah. I mean, people that, you know, like the band are definitely influenced by, you know, some of the things that we talk about, and, you know, they appreciate the subject matter. I mean, like, there's countless times where people have come up and said, you know, your songs help me get through the day, and, you know, they're great to work out to, and, you know, they give me perspective as to, you know, I'm not the only one out there who feels like this, you know. So, I mean, yeah, it helps, but, you know, I mean, it's just one of those things. Like, some people listen, some people don't. And, you know, right now the going fad is to like everything that your friends like. And if your friends don't like it, then you don't like it. You know, everyone's like sheep right now. Not everyone, but, you know, I have to be careful how I say that, because I don't want people getting the wrong idea. But at the same time, there's, you know, music is supposed to be about expression, self-expression, you know, but now it just seems like everything is cookie cutter. You know, every band looks like every other band, and, you know, things that were unique when they first came out are just now carbon copies, you know. Well,
speaking of the lyrics, I want to ask you about a specific stanza from Equilibrium. Freedom isn't free. The powers that be want to eliminate the choices for you and me, our rights, our liberties. A change is coming through. But the question is, when will that be? Are you referencing something specific that bothers you about the state of freedom and liberty? Or are you, you know, and what change are you looking forward to? I mean, when you care about these issues, does it make you an optimist or a pessimist?
I just think it makes me a realist. You know what I mean?
Okay.
To the point where, like, you see how things, you know, have changed as far as, you know, I mean, just the basic, right now they have these discussions about, you know, getting rid of the Second Amendment, which was very important, you know, to our founding fathers, or they wouldn't have put it in the Constitution. You know, that's going on right now. You just have people deciding for you what they think is best for you. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of information out there, but it's just a matter of the individual trying to find his way through whatever they're reading to see what the real truth behind it is. I mean, I've been getting onto a lot of conspiracies lately with, like, you know, this new world order taking place, and, like, you know, the will of a few dictating the will of the masses. And it's a constant growing thing. It's just not getting any smaller. It's just, at some point, they'll just be the world dollar. You know, Europe has already done that with the euro. You know, it's just a matter of time before America falls in the line. I mean, you have a country that was built from the sweat of, you know, the hard work of individuals who had nothing and created something. And now, you know, our country is pretty much at the will of China, so to speak. You know, I've worked in retail for a long time, and I've gone from seeing boxes that said made in the USA to everything being made in China, you know, and this is America.
So what's the point? If you're such a pessimist, then, I mean, I appreciate you saying that you're a realist, but if your conclusion is that it's going to keep getting worse, you know, what's the point?
Well, I mean, the point is that, you know, if enough people get together, then, you know, things can happen, can change. I mean, it's, you know, I think I don't know. A pessimist is, I don't see a difference between a pessimist and a realist.
Oh.
You know, it's just, it is what it is, man. I mean, what the fuck? You know, I mean, like, you hope for good things, but you have to be willing to accept some kind of change.
Well, let me challenge you. Let me challenge you for a second to join me in taking a longer view of human history, and at least in the long term being an optimist. Because I think if you look at from how we've come from the state of nature to where we are today, it's been a process of learning greater respect for human rights. Even if we see a process of two steps forward and one step backwards.
Where is that respect for greater life, though?
Well, if you look at the statistics, we actually live at a time when the average human being is subject to the least violence ever before, than ever before in human history. And I agree that I think we're in the middle of a major step backwards right now in this process with the American government, the American empire, but compared to living under a monarchy, compared to saying that, that there's a king and he is your connection to God, and if you don't obey the very whims of the king, you can be put to death. I mean, if that used to be the global standard of what we expected from government, even with today's illusions and sheeple society, we've come some distance from that, no?
To some extent, same thing coming back around. There's all this talk about, flights over America with chemtrails and, once again, taking away your rights, not being able to have meetings at, political parties, not being allowed to protest in a safe manner. I mean, it's all relative, man. Like, some of the things that people have done for years are just now being, not taken seriously. Like, a lot of people fought and died for this country to provide those rights, and slowly they're being taken away.
Well, I got to hold you to account for your own words now, because in the track Pages, you say, a new day is upon us, enlightenment, we will not submit to interrogation, invasion of our privacy no longer taken, we don't belong, we will not stand down, we can't let this go, we will not be forsaken. If that's true, wouldn't you want to look forward and think that more people are waking up in this way, even if one at a time, in a way that can't be denied, that they can't be put back to sleep? Like, once you realize this and you understand the nature of government as someone like you does, that's not something that you can unlearn. Doesn't that give you hope?
No, that totally gives you hope. It gives you hope, but at the same time, it can't just be one person. It has to be a group effort to make things change. And the more people that do wake up, the brighter their future looks. I mean, really at this point, it's just, there needs to be a new introduction to a political party. There needs to be a 3-party system. It can't always be Republicans and Democrats.
Well, that would certainly...
There needs to be a third party.
That would certainly be a step in the right direction.
Open up the debate a bit, yeah.
So tell us about the album that you're working on right now.
Right now we're really we're not working on any new material. We're thinking about, just doing a couple of songs here and there. I mean, dudes are always writing, so we'll see what happens. But I mean, as far as recording right now, there's none of that going on. I mean, people are going in every direction, trying to take care of ourselves, and in a humanity standpoint.
Gotcha. Well, how about any tours? You got any tours lined up?
No, unfortunately, no tours right now, man. Like the whole music community is changing drastically. It's just become a point where, at this point, you always never really thought that the recession would hurt everyone all the way around, but it has. I mean, it's people don't have that expendable cash anymore to go out to a show, and have a good time. You run the risk of possible DWI. And you go to the show, you buy the ticket, you want to get a couple drinks, you want to buy some merch. It's very costly, and, a lot of people don't have jobs and disposable income like that. So you have to really, when you do play shows, you have to make it worth their while to want to come out. So, it's just a changing of the times. But, I mean, we're always positive that things will get better. I mean, it may seem pessimistic, but I mean, it's definitely in hopes of things getting better. Like, everyone wants things to get better. It's just a matter of getting everyone together on that same page. And again, it's once you get those multiple people together, then things can really happen and change. And that's what we hope for.
Well, if you had one single message or one thing you could sum up to get across to your audience, what would it be?
Do not let people fool you, man. I mean, take the time, investigate what's going on. If you see things that don't appear to be on the up and up, take the time to think about it and, respect others around you. I mean, it's cool to worry about yourself. That you need to take care of yourself. I mean, it's just your actions affect others around you. And I think at this point, like, man needs to return back to the humanity side of things instead of destroying everything and trying to take more than is actually needed, and realize that there are others out there that can use your help, whether it's being a mentor or, physically being able to help someone in their time of need. But I just think that we need to realize that we all live together on this planet, and together we can make things change.
Right on.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can find them on twitter.com/gforbid or God Forbid MySpace, and facebook.com/official God Forbid. Byron, what song would you like us to play out on?
I would go out with A Few Good Men.
All right, let's see if we can pull that up.
And I would just like to say for our audience that if God forbid ever comes around for a show near you, definitely go see it. I saw you guys live at Mayhem Fest 09, and that was definitely the best pit of the day.
Ladies and gentlemen, Byron Davis of God Forbid. Check him out. This is God Forbid, A Few Good Men. Oh my gosh, it's a revolution. That was just the start.
We've got some hashes, so most of these are going to be a bubble extraction hash, y'all.
Please lend me your wisdom. I have watched in awe as you have grown from stubble to what you have become.